I'm just playing, ladies. You know I love you.
Hello, 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 everybody. Welcome back. Wrestling Bros Talks with Judas here, your host, Judas Black. And tonight I have a very special guest with me from Virginia, from Pure Pro Wrestling, Jimmy Love. How you doing tonight, brother?
I'm doing great, man. I'm glad to be here. Good to be here.
Absolutely, absolutely. So we like to give our guest the spotlight when we start this episode. Give you a couple minutes just to talk about who you are, where you kind of got your start with things, and if you got anything coming up, I mean, shoot it, man. Let's hear about it.
Yeah, man. I got a lot of stuff coming up, and I'm Jimmy Love, handsome Jimmy Love. I started wrestling. I was mentored by the Boogie Woogie Man, the original handsome Jimmy. He was my trainer. I met him in 1996. Started training with him in 1997, and I've been wrestling ever since, man. And learned a lot from him. I thank him for me being here right now. There would be no Jimmy Love without Jimmy Valiant. And Mr. Electricity, Mr. Charisma, Mr. Showtime, handsome Jimmy Love. That's my deal. That's my thing. That's who I am. Um, you know, ask me anything you want to know, anything you want to know, anything you want to ask me. I'm an open book, brother. I'm an open book,
Absolutely, absolutely, guys. Like I said, this is Jimmy Love here tonight. This is a what I call a part 3 of a 4-part series of wrestlers coming in from Pure Pro Wrestling. As you know, we started it out with Scarlet Skies, moving on to manager Gorgeous Gary New. Tonight we have the promotion owner Jimmy Love, and then tomorrow night, as you guys know, Josh Valid will be on the podcast live. It's been an amazing experience, and
my
Jimmy,
favorite wrestler. That's my
you,
favorite wrestler.
yes. And
Josh
I'm telling
Fallon
you
is
right
my
now,
favorite
man, if
wrestler.
you know anybody else, man, it's down there in that promotion that would love to come on here, man, just point them out and let me
Oh,
know.
brother. Yeah, the whole crew would love to come on. They would love to. They
Okay.
would love to. I can hook it up. I can make it happen.
Absolutely. Just tell them to, shoot me a message on Messenger or however they want to do it, man. Judas Black, it's under William Robert Rogers on Facebook, and we'll get it set up. I mean, I'm down to do it. So,
Sweet.
all right. So tonight we're going to dig into some questions here. It's pretty typical with most of the wrestlers come on here. I like to, because even though they're the same questions, every wrestler has a different answer. And that's the beautiful part about it. So we kick it off with, what's the most rewarding part of wrestling for you?
At this point, for me, it's all about the fans, and I know that probably a lot of guys say that, but for me, really, it is. I've been doing this a long time, and when you get into this business, I think it is more about you. You know, it's a self-serving type of thing, but as the time goes on, and you've been doing it as long as I have, it does become more about the fans. It should be. It should be. You look out there, man. You see a lot of people. Kids, even adults. My age that really this means something to them. It matters to them, and it it empowers you. It makes you feel good about what you're doing. But the greatest thing is looking out there and seeing those little kids, man. Seeing those little kids getting so excited and so happy and just being so into it. And that's the
Absolutely.
thing for me is the kids. The kids, man. I gotta say that's the deal now with me. Uh, at the point I'm at the stage I'm at, and having kids myself, and seeing the kids happy, seeing them having a good time.
Absolutely, absolutely correct. The kids is where it's happening because they love the wrestling. They love to see the things that are going on. They love to see the high flying, the hard hits, and you got your older wrestling fans too that just love coming to a wrestling show.
Right.
But man, the reaction from the kids, it's genuine because they truly are telling you how they feel about
Right.
a given situation that's going on.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I
So
remember being that little kid. I remember being that little kid, 10 years old, 9 years old, sitting in the Greensboro Coliseum, man, and seeing these guys come in, these legendary figures that now, people that the guys that I wrestle with now, the young guys that come up, they didn't get to experience that they only hear about it. It's like legendary tales of
yeah,
these guys like Dusty Rose and Rock and Roll Express and Boogie Woogie Man Jimmy Valiant. I was there, man. I was there for all that. I was sitting in those seats, ringside, Greensboro Coliseum, and I
yeah,
heard, these guys. They were so over, and the building. Like you hear these stories about, like Hogan, Boris Zukov. I tell you that this is Boris Zukov told me this face to face, me and him sitting there opposite couches, and he told me when he wrestled Hulk Hogan, when Hogan's music hit and he came in, the building shook.
yep,
That it was that much. The whole place blew up.
yeah,
I saw that and I felt that in Greensboro at the Coliseum when Jimmy Valiant came in, when Rock and Roll came in, when Dusty came in. All of those guys were just as over, man. They were just as over, and
wow,
they were just as big. It was, it was magical time. It was a magical time. It really was, and that's what brought me here. That's why I'm here right now. That's why there is a Jimmy Love. You know what I mean?
absolutely, absolutely. So, who would you say, because obviously somebody kind of made you get into this. I kind of get into wrestling. I really love and enjoy it. Who would you say is your favorite wrestler of all time and why?
Man, I got a few. I got a few. Obviously, Dusty was he was a big deal. He
Yep.
was a guy I could relate to as a chubby kid. You know, yeah. I mean, I could relate to Dusty. He's
Yep.
he's a he's a fat guy. I could relate to him. Um, and so I saw myself in him. I always wanted to be like him. Magnum TA was a huge, huge influence on me.
Yeah.
I was a big fan. The first time I ever met Magnum TA, I was um, I was starstruck. He was one of the guys that I met that I was actually starstruck when he walked in the back of the building. I'll never forget it. We had a match. It was a show in Yanceyville, North Carolina, and Magnum comes in the back door. They brought him in the back, and I was starstruck, man. And he knew it. He saw it all over my face, and he walked right up to
That's
me,
awesome.
and he stuck his hand down. He said, "What's your name, kid?" And I told him, and he watched my match that night, and I'll never forget this as long as I live. One of the greatest compliments I've ever had. He watched my match, and he came back to the dressing room
Yeah.
afterwards, and he said, "I really enjoyed your match," and he shook my hand again. And he may not remember that, brother, but I will never forget it as long as I live.
Yes.
Dusty, Magnum, Ricky Morton. Ricky Morton was is still such a big influence on me. That guy, man, I've had some of the best matches I've ever had with him. So Dusty, Magnum, Ricky Morton. I mean, I took some stuff from Flair. The
Yeah,
style and all, but those are all those Mid Atlantic guys, all those Crockett guys in the '80s. Those
yeah,
are the guys I watched. I studied. I took something from them and made Jimmy Love. It created Jimmy Love.
that's awesome. Absolutely, guys. Like you just heard from Jimmy Love here, some of the greatest wrestlers we've heard of all time, Dusty, Ric Flair, just to name a couple of them, taking moves from different sets to create Jimmy Love. So Jimmy Love was created from legendariness.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
exactly what we're hearing. So
Hey, I used to cut promos, man. I used to
yeah,
cut promos, and I remember Jimmy Valiant Boogie. He used to tell me about cutting promos in the mirror, and just doing your promo and getting it down. But I had already been doing that since I
yeah,
was a teenager. Since I was a kid, I already been doing it. So to hear him
nice.
say that's how you need to do your promos, I mean, it was great. You know what I mean? Because I
Yep.
already been doing it, and I mean, I'm a promo guy. I mean, I don't want to say I'm the best or anything like that, but I mean, I'm a pretty good promo. I do pretty good interviews, and it came from all my life. I've been doing it. I've been doing it since I was a kid. Cutting promos in the mirror and kind of trying to perfect that talk. Man, is what I mean.
Absolutely,
It's
absolutely.
like
Yes. So I'm going to
it's
go
like
ahead.
that song, man. It's like that song. I want to tell you, this song. It's I can't remember who sings it, but it's like it's Don Williams. Don Williams. He said, "I learned to talk like the man on the 6 o'clock news," and that's what I did. I listened to these guys from the time I was knee high to a knee. Listened to them, and then that's what I did, man. I learned my promos from them, and I told George South one night we were in the ring, we were in a tag team match, and I said, I said something to the guy across the
Mhm.
ring, and I said, I looked at George and I said, I learned all my big words watching wrestling, brother.
Absolutely.
That's where I learned all my big
So
words.
I just made sure there was an Amber Cooper. Is that somebody you know?
I do know her.
So
Yes.
she just sent me a message requesting the link to be able to listen to your podcast episode, and I accepted her friend request so that way she can get to my Facebook page and be able to listen in tonight.
She's a sweet girl. She's a sweet girl. I was hoping, like, I sent out a lot of invites
Yeah,
tonight and the link to everybody, but I messed up and I gave them the wrong
yep,
time. It's totally my fault.
yep,
I wasn't thinking East Coast, time,
yep.
and it was different. And I told them 8 o'clock, and it was 9. So that's totally on me. But hopefully they'll come back and they'll watch it.
Absolutely, yeah. It's gonna be there.
I would like for everybody to be here live, so they could do the questions or whatever, the chat.
You know,
But it is
so
what it is.
guys, if you want to tune into the episode, any episode that I put on the podcast here, you can tune in to William Robert Rogers' Facebook page, which is where it'll be streamed live, as well as Judas Black's YouTube channel. There is a link on my Facebook page as well. You just click on that link; it takes you straight to my page, and the podcast will be running live there as well. Pretty easily laid out for us here, so that way everybody's able to check these out. And obviously, even after the podcast is done, it'll be on Facebook for 30 days, and then it goes, but it stays on my YouTube channel constantly. So every
Okay.
one of these podcast episodes that we do, you can go straight to my YouTube channel and click on them, and just go clear back to the very first ever Talks with Judas that I did, and see how things were for us right in the beginning. So
Yeah.
it's a good time. It's definitely a good time. It's a chill atmosphere here on the podcast. But let's dig right back in here. And a typical question I ask: what are your biggest wrestling goals for the future? I want to know, what are your biggest wrestling goals for the future for Pure Pro Wrestling?
Well, obviously, I want Pure Pro Wrestling to get bigger and as big as it can. Um, we're an independent promotion. We started out um, running shows out of a community center that only seated about 150 people,
Yeah,
and we've expanded over the years. We started in 2007, man. 2007, 2000, yeah, it was 2007. Like, um, we really got going well in 2008. Um, we did some shows at some bigger venues in
yeah.
2008 that we drew 400 people, which is for an independent show is really big. It's a big deal.
Oh, it
Um,
is.
yeah, yeah. I mean, you think about these big 10,000 seats arenas for these huge companies like WWE or whatever, but they
Yeah,
got a machine. They got a machine behind them, man.
yeah.
Um, to draw 400 people on an independent show is
It's
big,
huge.
big deal.
Yes.
And we did that really early, which was a blessing. It was a blessing, and but it didn't happen every night. It didn't happen every weekend, every Saturday. We started out in a little community center, 150
Yeah,
people. Um, we still do small venues like that, but we do bigger venues where you can draw. You can seat a
yeah,
lot more people. Um, I want Pure Pro Wrestling to get as big as it can. Obviously, um, bring in more big names when we
yep.
can to draw more attention to us, to get more
Mhm.
eyes on us. My plan is I want to double our attendance. What we're doing right now, next year at this time, I want us to be doubling. I want to double that, and I want it to be on a regular, consistent basis. And I've got some ideas and some plans in place to try to make that happen. We can hope for the best. I mean, that's all we can do. Is hope it works out. But Pure Pro Wrestling obviously is my priority. It's my baby. So it's I'm putting everything
Yeah,
I got into it. Every ounce I
yeah.
got left into it.
Absolutely, absolutely. You're doing everything you can to grow this promotion, and make things happen for you guys. Um, but yeah, definitely we've had this episode is definitely gaining me some friend requests tonight. Because everybody's trying to
Well, that's great.
they're
I
trying
love
to
that.
get into the podcast. Brian Cooper, Amber Cooper, and then I think there was a guy. I think his last name was Rice. I think it was. Hold on a second here. Um, Robbie Rice. Robbie Rice.
Yeah.
So you guys are more than
Yes.
welcome. Now that the friend requests are accepted, just go straight onto my Facebook page and you'll be able to come into the podcast and watch everything that is going on here tonight. Um, but yeah, definitely, man. I've been checking out Pure Pro Wrestling. I've been talking to some of the people, and what I love most is that the fact that Pure Pro Wrestling is in the South, because good Southern hospitality is just amazing. I have family that lives in northeastern Kentucky. So and I love the Southern accent too. The Southern accent is so awesome.
Right.
Like I definitely got that partially from gorgeous Gary New, but Scarlett, yes, she is from the
Scarlett.
South.
She has a beautiful, beautiful
Oh
Southern
yeah,
accent, and it's not expected. When you look at it, when you look at Scarlett, you would never
no,
see it coming until she starts talking. And she's such a beautiful little girl, beautiful kid. I'm so happy to have her with Pure Pro Wrestling, and man, we're gonna do so much with her,
absolutely.
and she's gonna do so much in
Well,
this
yeah,
business. She's
she
gonna do
was.
so well.
We were talking the other night. She was telling me about she did her first crossbody in the ring, in a match, and I was like, that is freaking, that's awesome.
It was I
The
watched it.
experience to be able to
I was
be,
on the floor. I was on the floor and I watched it. It was beautiful. I
yeah,
bailed out and I was on the floor and I looked up and saw her hit it. Because I wanted to see her hit it So when I
Yeah.
went out and I saw, I mean, it was beautiful, man.
Absolutely, yeah. So, like, the experience for the first time to be in a ring during a show, like my very first experience of being in a show was actually in a battle royal for Southland Championship. I was in it's called the Nick Huffman Memorial Battle Royal. It's in honor of a wrestler that used to wrestle for Southland that passed away, and just the experience. A buddy of mine. His wrestling name is Apex. He goes by Matt. His real name is Matt, but his wrestling name is Apex, and he definitely fills the spot for the Apex. So, he's dominant in the ring, and I really got to have a really great rundown with him because he kind of guided me through it since it was my first one. And I threw everything at him, and unfortunately, he did eliminate me in the end, but it was a great time. I went back and forth with a couple other guys, and then he's like, nah, you're mine, and throws me in the corner. And I threw him in the corner, and I chopped him in the chest, and he's like, oh, I hate chops. And
Oh
then he
man,
gave me a
yeah.
good swift kick in the leg, and we went back and forth, and then he's like, all right, it's time to go.
You got to get out of here.
Yeah, but it was awesome. It was a great experience. It was awesome. It taught me a lot. Just being in there to be able to see everything that was going on, and it was chaos in that ring.
Yeah,
So
yeah. That's your first experience in there. You'll never forget it. It's like your first time. For a lot of things, you never forget. Um,
yeah,
and I'll never forget mine. And my first time in there with the tag team match. A couple of guys that I respect a lot that taught me so much. I learned so much from being in the ring with these guys. Just
yep,
one, two, three times. Frank the Tank Parker,
yep,
Ruthless, Roger Anderson. These guys, they had done matches, dark matches with WWF.
yep,
WWF at the time it was WWF, and these guys were the real deal, man. I mean, they were great. They were like
yep,
Andersons. They were like the Andersons, and they scared me. I would, it's like Roger Anderson scared me, and I was in the damn match. I was in the match, and I was smart to it, and he still scared me.
yep,
And I mean, I was green, man. It was my first match, scared the hell out of me, but I never forget those guys and what they did for me.
yep,
I respect them immensely. They didn't have to do what they did for me, and
yeah.
they did it, and they treated me right and treated me good, and I'll always, just never forget that. You never forget stuff like that.
That's very awesome, to hear all those experiences you definitely had. And you said a name there, Frank the Tank. We actually have a Frank the Tank here,
Really?
but he also goes by the name FXB, the Black Sheep. He's a Mexican wrestler, but man, the dude is just crazy.
Wow.
He wrestles out of CSW, and we do these sessions at the MCW shows when we go to the shows. We call them chop sessions, Wrestling with Bros chop sessions. And we
Mhm.
pick a wrestler from the show and we let them do chop sessions. And this is what
Oh
gained
my
my
goodness.
buddy the nickname Marshmallow Chest because he chopped he chopped me, and I was good. It was a little red, and it kind of went away. But my buddy, he took a chop from FXB, and he had a welt and then like bruising, and I was like, man, I
Oh
was like, all
wow.
right, all right, Marshmallow Chest,
Oh
and
my goodness.
and
Hey, if you
he's like,
it
that's
ain't
not
it ain't a
the thing.
chop session unless you got a handprint. You got to get a
Yeah,
handprint on your chest.
yep. He
Yep.
says he's like that's not a thing. I was like, yeah, Marshmallow Chest is definitely a thing now. And the
Oh
last one
man.
we did with a guy named Chris the Wild Card Mercer, and man, I said this is chop session with Wrestling Bros. He's like, this is actually Chris Mercer's cooking show, and I'm about to serve out some firehouse chops. and, And
Oh,
man, he chopped me the first time, and I was like, okay. I was like, I could take another one, but he chopped my head. But then my friend ended the video early. I'm like, what are you doing? So we had to restart it.
oh
And
no.
I told my buddy Ben, I said, hey man, I told him, I was like, well, Ben is out. He is officially welted. He is officially bruised. When he took that chop from Chris the Wild Card Mercer, there was literally, it raised up the imprint of that guy's hand. You could have made a mold out of his hand.
I've
And
seen that. I've seen it.
I took a chop. The second chop I took from him, he caught me right across here. It was just a straight whop like that. I'm like,
Wow.
it was, oh my God. It was, yeah, it almost knocked me on my rear for sure.
Yeah. I've been chopped so hard it made my knees buckle. Like I never seen that. Like I've seen it, on TV at the time. I'd seen it in cartoons and I'd seen it in,
Yeah.
on TV shows where a guy would get hit and his knees would do that shimmy shake deal,
Yep.
And I'd never been hit that hard before where it happened, but I've been chopped that hard before where,
Yes.
just a chop and it made my knees do that deal, I was like, wow,
Yeah.
yeah, chops can be devastating. They can be vicious. It depends
Oh
on
yeah.
who's giving them and how they're giving them.
Yep.
People think it's, oh man, I can do that. No, you can't.
It's not for the faint of heart. It's not for the faint of heart.
No, it's not. It's not.
I have taken a many a chops from several different wrestlers. And I was in a practice rumble with some of the guys at Southland before we did the show. That was the next day. And they just decided they were going to start doing a chop session on me. And first I got chopped by James Creed. And I was like, oh, like I felt that. And then I'm like stumbling across the ring and he grabs me back and throws my shirt up and just, and I'm like, oh. And then my buddy Johnny was in the ring and he grabbed me, spun me around and chopped me. I was like, no, we're done with this. Like, this is
I can't get anybody to chop me hard anymore. I don't know if it's just that, that they can't chop or is I'm the booker and they don't want to they don't want to hurt me.
Hey, if you could take a chop,
don't want to hurt me. I don't know.
you could take a chop, man. They should be laying them in there nice and tight for you.
I got a lot of meat up here, man. I got a lot of meat. They can hit me as hard as they want, but they won't hit me. I don't know. I don't know what it is.
They have too much love for you, man. That's
maybe that's what it is. Maybe it is what it is. I don't know.
So, what advice would you give somebody that's just starting out in wrestling?
Oh, man. Well, depends on what they want to do. It really depends on the what your goal is. Everybody's got different goals in the business.
Yep.
When I first got in the business, I just wanted to entertain people. I wanted to be an entertainer. I wanted to get all this, I think I've probably been an entertainer my whole life. Like even as a young child, I think I had that bug, the entertainer, kind of thing. But
yeah,
I think that it really depends on what you want to get out of it. Some people I've noticed, like in recently, I don't really follow the product, the big time product, WWE and all of that anymore. But I think that a lot of guys now they're getting in it just to go to WWE or just to make money.
Yeah.
That was never my goal. When I first got into business, I swear to God, being the WWE guy was never my goal. I just wanted to go out and I wanted to do this in front of a crowd. I wanted to entertain the people. And, I never even thought about money, man. My first match, I left the building and didn't even get my payoff.
Oh, wow.
I left because I didn't, hell, I thought that I probably owed them money, So I mean, yeah, I'd never, I never thought about it on that level. But if you're thinking about it on that level, you got to set different, you know,
Expectations.
yeah, you have to. Now, it's like as a promoter, as a booker, as running a promotion, I have to look at it from a different standpoint. But
Yeah,
um, because to sustain the shows, to make sure that the shows make money, shows have to make money. To sustain themselves, they have to. We have
yeah,
to make money on a show to keep the show going.
absolutely.
But as far as a wrestler, um, my advice, you know, like I said, just figure out what you want to get out of this,
Yeah,
what you want out of it. Do you want to, you got to come in and learn. You got to come in and learn. You got to understand that it's like anything else. You got to come in on the ground level. You need to come in on the ground level. You need to learn everything.
yeah,
Um, you need to learn how to set up the ring, how to set up the chairs, how to set up the whole production, the whole, this we start from here. This is where we start from. And then the main thing is just to listen to the guys that's been there, that know what they're doing. Um, if you you need to find out, if you're going to train to wrestle, if you want to wrestle, you need to find somebody that knows how to do it.
yeah,
Watch their matches, watch what they do, and if you like what they do, then maybe you approach them about helping you out. Um, there's another way to go about it. You can look at it like this. You can go with a big time trainer. You can go with someone that's been to the big time.
yep,
Um, I wouldn't personally advise that, because I think it's what do you call it? Um, there's a word for it. There's a term for it, where they're running you through the camp. Like,
yeah,
it's like when I went to Boogie's, it was a more personal thing. He was
yeah,
there. We learned from him. He was there. But like, you go to these camps with these big time guys now, and you never even see these guys, or they
yeah,
come in, they talk to you, and then they leave, and you
yeah,
never get to work out with them. You never get it, whatever, have a match with them.
yeah,
Um, but I think if you find a guy uh, on the independents, and I'm not putting myself over, but I've worked with a lot of guys, WWE Hall of Famers. I've worked with a dozen of them,
yeah,
and I've had good matches with them. I've never had one of them complain. I've never had one of them, you know, not want to work with me. I've even had them to request working with me when they came to a show, and they
yeah,
would see me there. They would say, "I want to work with him," and that was a huge compliment for me. But I'm not saying that, you know, I'm the best, or, you got to seek out to train you, because, you know, I wouldn't consider myself a great teacher. I can tell you what to do, but I can't get in the ring right now at this point as a trainer full time, you
yeah,
know. But if you can find a guy that knows his stuff, and you can get in there with him, you can get him to train you. That's important. You want to find somebody that knows what they're doing
yeah,
to show you how to do this. You know what I
yep,
mean? Um, there's a lot of different factors that goes into knowing what you're doing. The
yeah,
psychology, not just the physical part of it, but the mental part, the psychology of it. It's
yeah.
that's a huge factor. You know.
Okay. Absolutely, absolutely. A lot of good information there. To definitely consider with starting out as a wrestler. There's a lot of things to consider when making that jump and making that decision. Myself, I like working with people that have spent more time in the indies, because I feel like people that and this is just straight fact. A lot of people that end up in the big times, like WWE and AEW, they feel like they're better in a sense than the guys that are under them, and that's not a good standpoint. And I'm not saying they're not better, but it's you can't come in with that kind of mindset when you're trying to teach people. And
Well, you can't, and I've been told a long time ago, and I don't want to say exactly uh, the terminology that was used and what I was told about how this business works. But everybody that has left the Indies and went up, especially now, um, it's not like it used to be. It's really
no,
not. You're up there for 6 months and then you're home. You're back home working the Indies, or you might get lucky and you might get to stick around. Maybe some of these guys up there. Like I said, I don't keep up with the product. I don't follow it, the WWE product or any of the big time,
yeah,
so to speak, wrestling. But I think that a lot of these guys are lucky to have a job. They're lucky. They're very lucky. They're no better than some of the guys that I work with every weekend on the Indies. I work with guys that I mean, man, I don't know how they don't have a job.
yeah,
And then I see other guys, you know, that have a job, and I'm like, what? Not to
yeah.
downplay anything that they're. I mean, hey, man, I wish the best for everybody. And, I hope everybody gets a job. I really, really do. I hope everybody makes a ton of money or whatever. But I like I said, I work with guys every weekend, and I'm like, man, this guy, he's got everything, and I don't know why he doesn't have a job. But then they'll pick up some guy that, I would never, if I was up there, if I was picking, I would be like, I would never look at this guy,
Yeah.
for whatever reason, not nothing personal, whatever, but just looking at him, I'm just like, I don't see it, I don't see it.
So we kind of floated into what I like to call the just the kind of open minded ended part of the podcast. A little bit about yourself, man. Like outside of the wrestling world, what are some of your hobbies and interests outside of wrestling? Things you enjoy doing?
Honestly, I don't really have any. wrestling,
Oh
wrestling is pretty.
man,
Yeah, that's the reason I think that I've been able to be successful on the independents. Not many guys are successful on the independents. As far as like, I mean, it depends on what you measure as success. But
yeah,
I I live this every day. This is it. I mean, I breathe it, live it, sleep it. Poop it. Whatever you want to call it. You know, I mean, this is my deal, man. This is what I
yeah.
do. It's what I've been doing, for a long time, and I don't really have anything outside of this. This is it. I mean, um, as far as hobbies, as far as extracurricular activities, I don't go out and play ball. I don't do any of that. Everything revolves around wrestling. Um, you know, uh, I mean, I have a family. I mean, I have a life outside of wrestling, but
Yeah.
I don't have any like hobbies outside of wrestling. Wrestling
Okay.
pretty much is my hobby. It's my hobby. It's my life. It's my job. It's what I do. And I pretty much am in it all day, every day. You know.
Okay. All right. All right. So you heard him there. This man is about the business and he sticks to it unless he's spending time with his family.
Yeah.
So, and that's a good thing to do. Getting time with your family outside of the biz is definitely a good thing to have because you don't want to get lost in the shuffle with it. You still got to have time with the ones you love because
Absolutely.
much
Absolutely.
as we love wrestling, we ain't all going to be here forever. And
Right.
so
Right.
we got to enjoy that time. So, what's some of your favorite food?
Oh man, sushi. I
Oh,
love,
I'm
I love, I
sorry.
love, I
Dude.
love sushi, man. I love sushi. Oh, I'm a huge sushi guy. Uh,
Okay.
Sushi, preferably sashimi.
Okay.
I like the fish without the rice. I like just the raw slices of fish, the sashimi. Um, all kinds. Um,
My
I
fish
like
has
I like
my fish has to be fried.
oh man, I love fried fish too. I mean, but I love sushi. I love exotic foods. I went to a Vietnamese restaurant recently.
Yeah.
It was authentic Vietnamese, and I ate
Okay.
this blood soup.
Ooh.
It was like beef intestine and blood, like clumps of beef blood.
Hmm.
It was interesting. You
Yeah.
know, ox.
That's to
I
say the
ate some.
least.
Oh man, I ate some ox tongue. Um, yeah, I mean, I love all kind of. I like anything that I can't have like every day. Like, like I can't just go, and make it like open the fridge and get it out and make it myself. I like to go and experience some different stuff.
Well, guys, you officially heard it here. I wondered when I would ask that question and regret asking that question. And Jimmy Love made it happen tonight. Now I don't know if I want to ask that question of anybody anymore.
Oh man. Hey, you got to try it. You got to try it out. You got to try it. Mm.
I think it's going to have to be a hard pass.
I'm sure you got a bunch of Vietnamese and sushi restaurants out there in the Midwest. I know
We
you got to have.
do. And I tend to look in my rear view mirror and watch it disappear behind me.
Oh, go in there and check them out. Go in there and check them out. But hey,
I've,
I
I've
like,
tried sushi. I have tried sushi and I spit it right back out.
oh
So
man, no. But I love, sushi. I love, everything, man. I love beef ribs. Beef ribs are another
okay.
favorite of mine. Just more, Americanized, more, conventional food. I like beef ribs. I love beef
Okay.
ribs. Everybody's all about the pork ribs. You can't find beef ribs anywhere. You go to a restaurant, oh no, we got pork ribs. We don't have beef. If you find a place that's got the beef ribs, man, oh my goodness.
I've
That's
had when we were kids, my family we'd always go visit our family in the South in Kentucky, and we'd go fishing. And when we got a bunch of fish, we'd come back, we'd flay them, and then we would. My uncle would set up the big fryer, and we'd dip them in flour and egg and stuff, and drop them in the fryer. And man, right there,
great,
that good old
great.
Southern fish fries,
Oh, I love it,
absolutely,
man. My
yeah,
my first I think my first taste of sushi type of fish, and I didn't even know it at the time, was my dad. We would go fishing and
yeah.
he would cut the fish open and there would be fish eggs. And we would
You
eat the
ate
fish
that?
eggs. Yeah, we would eat the fish eggs.
Oh,
And
man.
now, yeah, now 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 I realize that was like my earliest
Isn't that
experience
like
with sushi
is that like
because now I go
calamari
to
or
a
something?
restaurant, I go to a sushi restaurant and I pay crazy money for those fish eggs that I was getting for free, back when I was a kid.
Isn't that called like calamari or something?
No, it's the roe. Like the
Mm.
roe are the eggs. Like salmon roe is the. But I mean, it's beautiful. It's like that. Oh my God, I can't even
So
Thinking about it makes
this
me just want it right now.
this gentleman right here, guys, just sat here and told us he doesn't wait for the fish to be big enough to be filleted and eat it in a fryer. This man sits here and eats them before they're born.
You got to eat the eggs, man. You got to. Salmon roe. Try the salmon roe if you've never had it. You got to try it. The greatest sushi that I've ever had was the uni. It's sea
Okay.
urchin. sea urchin. I
Okay.
want that to be my last meal on this earth. If I am dying and they tell me, "What do you want?" I want that to be the last taste in my mouth. Is that uni? That is the
I
greatest thing
think
I
I
have
will
ever
stick with
tasted.
my good old authentic Mexican tacos.
Ask Gorgeous Gary about those. Gorgeous Gary can tell you about those.
Okay. All right. All right. So, what do you find most fun or challenging about wrestling?
Um, for me, I mean, the most challenging thing now is having my body keep up with my mind.
Yep.
Um, I think I can do stuff, but my body is like, oh man, you can't do that anymore. Um,
Yep.
that's kind of um, the most fun thing is popping a crowd.
Yep.
Just going out there and doing something that gets them excited, gets them feeling good, gets them
Yeah.
responding, gets them with you. And when they come back, and a big thing for me has always been, you know, when when the people come in and they ask, is Jimmy Love going to be here? You know, whether they send a message to to Pure Pro Wrestling or whether they show up at the door and ask, it doesn't matter. When they come in and they say, that's always the fun for me. That's always a big thing for me
Yeah.
is when they ask, is Jimmy Love going to be here? Because man, that's the greatest compliment ever. It's like they want to see you, man. They want to see you. They want to see you do what you do, whatever you're doing. It's resonating with them,
Yep.
and they're into it, and they want to see it, and
Well, I
that's
will
that's
tell you
you know
this. I will tell you this. I just took a look at the podcast on Facebook. We are officially sitting at before we and this is before we're even done. We're not even done yet. We're sitting at 41 views. So
beautiful.
the people are looking, people are paying attention, and that's good. So
Good.
that's great for you too, man. Like I say, when
Yeah,
we're done
yeah,
with this, man, go share this on your Facebook page because
yeah.
just go to my page, hit share, and right over to your Facebook, and boom, you can get the views rolling on that end as well.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So what do you see as the biggest challenge facing wrestling today?
Um, that's hard to say. There are a lot of obstacles. I think. Um, I always thought that the breakdown of kayfabe was
Yeah,
going to be a problem,
yep,
but it hasn't been a problem. It maybe I don't know if it ever was a problem.
yeah,
It's like you know it's one of those things. It's like, okay, look, you're watching a movie, guys, will say, okay, well, that's not real. This is that, whatever. But hey, man, you just watched a Spider-Man movie, and you were all into that. You were all into that, and I
yeah,
didn't see anybody getting up, walking out of the theater, and saying, "Oh, that's fake." You know,
yep.
but it is. And the difference between me and Spider-Man is I do my own stunts. You know, I do my
Yeah,
own stunts. Spider-Man don't do his stunts. His
nope.
shit's CGI. You know,
Yep.
I don't have CGI. I got to go out there and break my neck, break my back, whatever to do my stunts. But I do my own stunts. Even
Mhm.
right now, at 48 years old, I do my own stunts.
Yep.
So I don't know. I don't know if there's, I couldn't say what is like, obstacles with pro wrestling. I think pro wrestling is bigger than it's ever been. It's
Yeah.
bigger than it's ever been. I don't see any obstacle. I don't see anything really in the way. Um, I think it's just sky's the limit, really, at this point. You know,
Okay.
sky's the limit.
Absolutely. And and we're gonna wind this down here. I got one more good question for you, and then we're gonna give you the floor a couple more minutes. If you got some shows coming up and whatnot that you can let the fans know about. What are your thoughts on the evolving landscape of wrestling today?
I think that wrestling is it's it has evolved a lot, and
Yeah,
obviously, the stuff I grew up watching and the old school stuff is maybe not resonate with all fans, but there is a market for it. There's a market
yeah,
for old school wrestling. I see it every weekend.
yep,
Uh, People, we sell out buildings every weekend that want to
yep.
see old school wrestling and they love it, and that's what we present with Pure Pro Wrestling.
That's
Um,
awesome.
but wrestling is for everybody, but
Yeah,
I think at the same time, I think there needs to be some kind of regulation on
yeah,
that. I think all types of entertainment, as far as the wrestling business is concerned, it's I think there's something for everybody in wrestling. There always has been. If you go back and you look at wrestling, even way back, there's something
yeah,
for everybody. And I'm all about that. I'm all about something for everybody.
mhm,
I think that we can all be entertained and we can all get something out of this. I think we should take care of the business. I think we should be careful with it. I think that we have to protect it. And everybody, some people have a different viewpoint on what that means. But yeah, wrestling is it's an art form. It's an art
yes.
form. It's a
The game,
great.
it's
It's the greatest form of entertainment.
yes,
There's so much we can do with it, and I don't know, brother. I mean, it's wrestling is for me. It changed my entire life. It made me who I am today. It helped me through so much, and it helped define me as a human being, as an individual. It helped
yeah,
to make me. It brought me from you know a guy, a young child that never thought, never thought he could achieve what I've achieved. And I'm thankful for it. I'm thankful for wrestling. Wrestling, like I said, it changed my life. It changed my life, and it made me who I am. And I'm forever grateful for all the guys that came before me, all the guys that I
absolutely.
learned from, all the guys that helped me, whether directly or indirectly. Um, I just I just want to say thanks to all of those guys. And I want to say thanks to the fans, because without the fans, man, it would we would be wrestling in front of a bunch of empty chairs.
Yep.
You know,
Yep.
so
Absolutely, absolutely. And at this time, guys, we're going to be getting ready to wrap this up here tonight. But I want to give Jimmy Love just a couple more minutes. If you've got some shows coming up, man, go ahead and tell the fans about it. Things that you got going on that
yeah,
you want them to know. Go ahead.
absolutely. I mean, we've got a lot of shows coming up. We've got Pure Pro Wrestling in Fort Defiance, Virginia, Saturday night. This Saturday night. After that, we have Danville, Virginia, at Skate Town. That's on June 13th. That's a Friday night. We've got June 21st, Rocky Mount, Virginia. That's at the YMCA. We're taking off a couple of weeks. Of course, the July 4th holiday and all.
Yeah.
We're going to do July 12th in Ridgeway, Virginia, and
Okay.
then July 19th in Montville, Virginia. Keep up with the Facebook page, man, facebook.com Pure Pro Wrestling. You can find all the events, all the information that you need
Yep.
to follow us and to attend our events and get tickets and all of that stuff.
Absolutely, absolutely. And that was funny you said Montvale, Virginia, because I pulled a little stunt when I did the wrestling with my buddy the other day. We actually came out as our wrestling characters. And he came out the first time we wrestled each other, he called himself Dirty Dan. And this last time he called himself Stevie Sausage. And I'm just like, what is wrong with you?
Stevie
But
Sausage.
I
I'm
don't,
gonna use that. I'm gonna use that.
huh?
I'm gonna use that.
But I
I'm,
came out as myself, my gimmick, Judas Black. But I put down that I was from Montvale, Virginia.
oh, that's great, man. Hey, did you know there was a Montville, Virginia? Or you
I
just
seen it on one of your guys' posters.
oh, okay, I got you. I got you. Oh,
So
that's
I was
cool.
like trying to figure out what town I wanted to utilize. I was like, I just seen this name recently. I was like, I'm gonna go with Montville,
I
Virginia.
love it. I love it, man. I love it.
And I'll send that little fun practice run I did with my buddy. I'll send it over to you from the YouTube channel so you can check that
Yeah,
out.
please do. Please do.
So, guys, this has been an exclusive with Pure Pro Wrestling's the one, the only Jimmy Love here tonight. Go ahead and let your fans know. Say goodbye there, Jimmy.
Hey, thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you to who will watch in the future.
Absolutely.
When I share
Absolutely.
the link.
All right. Jimmy, stick around after the episode for a couple minutes here. We got a 30-second closeout. Guys, this is Judas Black, Talks with Judas, Wrestling with Bros. This has been an awesome episode. We've had a great time. We've laughed. We've joked. It has been awesome tonight. So, but unfortunately, it is that time in the show where we say our goodbyes. So you guys have a great night. We appreciate y'all and stay fancy.
All right. All right.
Thank you.